A big question on the minds of many people and a big debate is, how old is the universe? Okay, if you were to believe Ken Ham, Answers in Genesis, and the Institute for Creation Research, the universe and the earth is only 6,000 years old. Yes, that's right, despite there being galaxies that are billions of light years away, despite our own galaxy being 100,000 light years across, and despite our nearest galactic neighbor, the Andromeda Galaxy, being 2 million light years away, there are some that still claim the universe is only 6,000 years old. But how do we know these galaxies are billions of light years away? There are different measurements that we can take to figure that out. One is by looking at what is called the redshift of the light coming from a distant galaxy. Objects in space are moving away from us at a measurable rate, and objects further away from us are moving away faster. Astronomers look at the light shining back at us from a distant galaxy, light that has had to travel billions of years to get to us, and they can determine from how much the light is redshifted how far away that galaxy is. But there is also another technique that can be matched with a redshift or stand alone that confirms how far away an object is. The second way astronomers measure distances to faraway objects in the universe is by what are called Cepheid variable stars. A Cepheid variable is a star that varies in its brightness, amplitude, and in its size. The most important relationship in this kind of star that scientists can use is the Cepheid variable's luminosity and pulsation period. This is a well-defined and stable relationship. We do know these things because we see stars in our own galaxy and can measure the distances to them using trigonometric parallax, thus determining an exact distance. We can then take those measurements and the stats from the stars and extrapolate them out to exceedingly far distances, billions of light years in some cases, by using the inverse square law, where the intensity of a light source is inversely proportional to the square of the distance from the source. The statistics of the star coupled by the intensity of the light then tells us the distance to that star. Okay, now, you really can't get around this for the measurement to another galaxy. You just can't mess with that. We know the statistics of these well-defined and stable relationships, Cepheid variable stars. We know how to measure stellar parallax in our own galaxy, and we can use the inverse square law to determine how far distant a light source is. And when you use an independent measurement on the same galaxy, such as a redshift determination, you pretty much have an exact distant measurement. And when you measure a galaxy that's 1 billion light years away with both of these techniques, you know for certain how far away it is. And if a galaxy is 1 billion light years away, Ken Ham, guess what? It has taken 1 billion years for that light to get to us. There is no way around that. Now, young Earth creationists will try to tell you that the speed of light is slowing down and therefore these measurements are invalid. They, of course, will give you no exact figures as to how much the speed of light is slowing down or how far away these billion light year distant galaxies really are from us, or will they come up with a valid theory as to why we see such distant objects in the universe? No, they simply say the speed of light is slowing down, your measurements are invalid. End of story. Discussion is over. Ken Ham said so. There's just one huge problem with that, Ken Ham. When you slow down the speed of light, you change the fundamental makeup of matter. Ever heard of E equals mc squared? In that equation, c, right here, is equal to the speed of light. If you change the speed of light, then you have to change the other two variables in the equation. And guess what? If you do that, matter and energy cannot exist as we know it, and we would not be able to have the universe that we presently live in. It would not and could not exist. So, the only other answer that young Earth creationists can come up with is, well, God gave the universe the appearance of age, and wasn't Adam created with the appearance of age? Okay, well, even if that is exactly what happened, God didn't leave diapers and kitty toys laying around to make it look like Adam was a baby. There is all kinds of evidence laying around, so to speak, to show that the universe was once young and is now old. There was no evidence that Adam was ever young. God wouldn't fake us out and give us every kind of a sign that the universe is old if it were not so. The universe is very, very old. How old is the universe? It's approximately 13.7 billion years old.